We left off on a pretty interesting note. As the grand debut of your Maelstrom Stadium, new sport, meant to help bring the people together in this time of war, came closer. And events unfolded that were both strange and pivotal. As Hanu Stormconch, once Oracle and now member of the Stars and Sea Society, sought us peace, something where everyone who casts a lure is seeking something. But what she found after her many days of fishing for this strange golden carp, an elusive myth that became quite real. It provided her a window into the universe, into which she was able to pour a secret intent, a wish. As she called back for the life and return of an old friend and a lost sibling and a lost son. A week of exhaustion overcame the Oracle, while the keen-eyed and investigative Eliza Cunning perchance ate a fruit from a mythical tree that gave her visions of a future before ripping her sight from her eyes with blinding radiant fire. As the investigator and the Oracle recovered from these mythical wounds, Maelstrom's debut approached, with knowledge that danger would lie beneath it. You made preparations, and on the day before, you watched as a wish came true. Tyseth Ko returned to life. Confused and not remembering anything beyond his prior moments of walking into that ruin in Koiko 15 years ago, he was quickly caught up to speed and seemed to take it in stride, but emphasized the importance of going to see his father, Pridwin, the elusive figure whose airship you had seized out from underneath him in Port Valiant, and who you tentatively reached an alliance with in this shadow war against the Order group you suspect to be a puppet of the avatar of the devil himself. The crowds roared, and fervor built in this stadium. It was easy for a moment to forget all of those things. Here, everybody was believing in something. All invested. The music rung out through the stadiums as you received notice that the vision's first step had come to fruition. Something was in the generators below. You quickly mobilized, getting closer access from the stage. Others taking the long tunnel, while Zarman and Rue teleported right into the thick of it to witness monstrous behemoth of a creature with shaggy fur and this intricate metal plating across it. It had an odd look to it, but didn't necessarily at first look violent. Something that was quickly corrected as it flew to attack. The fight didn't last long. A fact which was a little concerning for a few reasons. First of all, this was no random creature, it would seem. The source of its power was nothing more than the head of the Sun Spear itself. Unsure, worried that this might be some sort of ploy or trick, you carefully removed it. Before hearing the second reason to be unnerved by the ease of this. Not even 2 minutes, huh? Not even a minute. Well, back to the drawing board. Before this gray air disappeared before your eyes. You gave some quick orders, hearing that there had been some conflict from Vox members in some of the other areas, some people arrested in the process, and directed the rest of your forces to deal with the bodies left in the engine. So you went back up to the stadium above. Nobody was the wiser. In fact, you could hear Prince over the stadium declaring the victory. Yeah. Final winners of the very first Maelstrom debut. The Sea Saints. Quite a turnaround. And all thanks, evidently, to its exceptional striker. Coach on it. Their victory over to. Saw them remove their protective helmet. You realized that it was none other than Gwen herself. Evidently, that's as you see that, a familiar voice from behind you. Well, would you look at that? It would seem that our former saint, flicker that she is, has a desire to shine. Isn't that interesting?
Hey, you'll be more interested in what happened downstairs, probably.
He raises an eyebrow. Tirana steps in. Did something happen? The vision.
It was right on the money.
Looks over at Eliza. Arthur. Crosses his arms from right behind you all and kind of. You notice he's not really looking in his father's direction a lot during all of this. And Pridwin doesn't take much of a beat in this. Miss, to lay all the cards on the table. I like to do that. Now, if that... After all, you already have all of your most trusted advisors and companions here. I trust did.
No. The little rest helped. Kind of looks at everybody else.
Wow.
So how this
Ask
talk?
your allies to meet us and a century, perhaps below sight. Once gathered, I can take us where we need to. It is much too far to travel any other way.
Understood. We will meet you down in then.
I will follow you. Looks at Tarana and Tyseth, and they both nod, and Tyseth kind of, catches up to Kelly and asks her, was there a fight? And, she kind of starts giving them kind of like the explanation of what they saw, but they kind of go in nerd mode once they start talking about the armor it was wearing, and you make your way back down through the tunnels to the cogs. Over the earpieces, gathering those allies most closest to you.
Yeah.
You gather, and he informs you that it'll have to take 2 trips. First, he looks at you, the core group, says, first, and then you're come back for the rest of your allies.
That's reasonable. Yeah.
That, he asks you to gather around in a circle. Now, if you would like to hold hands, form a circle, please.
Yeah.
I've heard that they've discovered a way to do this without the need for contact, but I never bothered figuring it out. And with that, as you hold hands, you watch as flowers start to sprout up underneath you, and a whole grove begins to grow right into the middle of you. And there's this fairy ring of mushrooms that pop up around you, and all of a sudden, you're gone. And you appear standing in the middle of Pridwin's study. He
Did
looks
I
at you
know?
all.
Did I know what he cast?
Fairly certain that this was some variation of circle or something like it. Looked old. Wasn't like the way most people do it.
Hmm.
It was definitely more Fey-like. That will definitely stand out.
Yeah.
You get the strong feeling that the way his magic works, even though he's a wizard, isn't really the same as a lot of other people's wizardly magic.
Yeah, it's more like he's more in tune to it. Huh.
The grass is right there in the middle of his study. Familiar, you look around, and then you see as if you would kindly step out of the circle.
Steps out.
Mm-hmm.
I won't be long. And then a moment later, on, and then instantly he is right back with the rest of your allies. You watch as the mushrooms die and the grass suddenly gone. We're all standing in the middle of Pridwin's study. As I wasn't lying when I said that it was much too far to travel. This is just the quickest access point. And he walks out towards his ready to leave, and you'd always noted that his house isn't like you look at it from the outside, just the one study. You don't see the other aspects of the house, and there are no other doors that you've ever noted. Um, but as he walks over to that door, he places a hand on the doorknob, and you watch as an arcane circle appears around the door and then he turns it, and then he turns it another way, and then he turns it again. From anybody that would like to see that.
Yep.
Yeah.
On that. Yeah, 24.
24
Okay.
7.
Okay.
And so we're gonna
And Eliza, you both recall, can tell that they were, Zale, you were able to make out, you both knew what symbols they were. Zale, you recognized that they're, arcane in nature. You can give me an arcana check if you would like.
27.
He hit one base elements, and he turns it back around, counter. He opens the door. You can see that it just fills up with this wall of light. And he goes, "Where we are going is just beyond here. There we can speak more."
Yeah.
Understand?
Gwen is the first one to walk through.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You all step through it, and you pile through one after the other. Into the headquarters of Brave Albion.
I had a fucking feeling.
It's a tension that's been in Hanu's shoulder that has not released ever since the fight. She's showing somewhat subtle but kind of great effort of just meditative breaths in and out.
Oh, I know.
As soon as you
her.
walk through, you do see one. You see actually two familiar faces. Rosemary is standing there with her cane in front of her. Eyes closed, but a bemused sort of look on her face. Particular Rosemary. Standing next to her is a very pale looking person that immediately stands out as being a vampire, having seen one before. And you note two individuals you don't recognize, but standing right behind them, almost in a like guard-like position as normal, is the Queen of Avil herself, Lady Cassandra. Lysandra de Callister. There we go, sorry. Gwen. Ava had never stepped foot here. This would be a first. Though everything that exists here is because of her.
And will give a gracious bow to each and every member in front of her.
Yeah, and there's definitely kind of this level of just Zoe will just also kind of do a slight like nod to each one.
These are, for better word, the leaders of Brave Albion. You see as a unfamiliar face steps forward. Just a slight step and kind of coughs, and this Fire Genasi here suddenly speaks, and we have no leaders. Everyone that is here carries the torch.
And I will nod at that, but then slightly glance over to Nan with the, I fucking knew it. Kind of like I knew you were important. And then refocus her attention back.
See her chuckling even as you glance in her direction, and that thought crosses your mind. You're just chuckling.
Yeah. Oh, people
read
are
your
very
mind.
strong. I know, she's like, I knew her power level was that high. In her mind.
Well, since I only personally know about half of you, my name is Armin. And then we'll do it like that.
We are familiar with who you are. Perhaps we should introduce ourselves. I am the liaison for Brave Albion. Vashti Banin Sahatanayir at your service. She gives a low bow.
Can you spell that out for us?
I will.
I want to write all this down.
Uncultured white people typing furiously in the chat.
I would write all this shit down and all the
The
names.
moment you said that, I was like, I'm never gonna be able to say that again.
Yeah.
Your face just made.
You see as Rosemary takes a step forward and she goes, "You already know who I am. Rosemary. I am responsible for outreach and recovery." Pridwin says, "She is the face, where Vashti is the heart." You see the vampire take a step forward, taking a cue from Rosemary, and he's. "I am familiar to one of you. Hello, Babette."
Babette nods in greeting.
"You wished to meet your employers, did you not?"
That is correct.
"It must be of some comfort to know that we were not actually going to seek harm against them." Rosemary chuckles.
Babette gives her,
And
we're gonna talk later, eyes.
Vashti says, "No, in fact, we are looking for someone to be Brave Albion's heart. Mind, sorry. A task we had originally intended to give to Brilliant Pillar. A title that was created by none other than Ava of Dragons herself." Looks at Gwen. Bow and nod of respect. "Recent events have informed us that perhaps there may be another choice." And she looks at you all. And you see as one of the unfamiliar figures takes a step forward. And at the same time, Arthur takes a step behind Tirana. And
Oh, what
as
is her
this
name?
dark elf steps forward and says, I am Valerie Vyakova. And then she takes a step back.
Fuck, Arthur, what the
And,
fuck?
at that point, Pridwin goes, they might need a little more than that. And she takes another step forward. Or they might be smarter than that. And she shoots a glare at him. And then you see as she like almost looks embarrassed. And then she looks at you and she says, I am in charge of coordination.
Kind of glances slightly over at Arthur and then back at her, then back at Arthur. Behind her back gives a thumbs up, like a slight nod.
Zella's face is fucking neutral, but in his
Okay.
mind, he's like,
I like to imagine
Now that's been said, I need everybody in the group to give me a wisdom saving throw just for a moment.
Damn it.
oh,
everybody
fuck.
can compete his Armin's plus
Yay.
Good. I
Right.
hopefully won't have to take damage.
wisdom, right?
I gotta switch my
Only applying for player characters.
Ah.
Because apparently Zell clicked charisma.
Oh, charisma?
Player
fuck.
characters are the only ones with a possibility of success in this. Everybody else automatically fails.
Ace actually walked back. Wisdom save.
No,
Alright.
no.
I didn't want to
So
fucking
did
use the
anybody
mic.
get over? Okay, it's a fairly high DC. Did anybody get over 25?
Alright, I
Sorry,
I
don't
was gonna make
I
it
don't
anyway.
know yet because my sheet isn't opening up for some reason, but so I'm just gonna click I guess a 1d20 and then log out and log back in.
Yeah,
Okay.
Eliza met 25. Zarman beat 25.
I got a plus 8.
Yeah, it's a meet. Sorry, it's a
Plus
meet. So
8.
25.
Wait, no, I got a
20.
plus
Eliza
9, right?
and Zarman.
Yeah, it's +9.
I will roll
Plus
my
nine.
my psychic damage.
Of course, I roll as low as I possibly can.
Sorry,
Awesome, max damage.
He did. Ooh.
Plus,
I was gonna make it anyway, so.
shit.
No,
Oh.
not in this one. Not in this case. You don't roll for the damage in this case. This is
Oh.
something different. So don't. You're good on that, Babette.
You
In
got
fact, failing this is a very pleasing experience. Actually, you did not hear what I just said. You heard the most musical sounding voice you've ever heard speak, and it wasn't like an enchantment. It wasn't. You don't feel like she charmed you in any way, but it was of such lyrical quality that you almost understand why she wasn't speaking so much, because if she had spoken more, you feel like you might have cried. And it was that kind of poetry. And those that got higher than that just heard her meekly say and then shoot that retort the way I said it.
Huh.
Okay, we'll carry on.
Gotcha.
And with that, Vashti turns. Since they are here, I was expecting Brilliant Pillar as well, considering they are the other contenders. And at this, Pridwin says, I tasked him with an important job that required his attention back in Acheron. She gives a nod, and Pridwin says, so, how about a tour? And you can ask whatever questions you'd like. There is still one member that we have yet to introduce you to. I suspect that Fitz and Locke are back in the engine room, are they not? The brain room? And you see as the Fire Genasi says, aren't they always? And With that, he leads you down a few steps down over this banister, and you see how this place is much bigger than you thought it was. The floors go down and down and down, and you've seen a lot of people walking by. There's no uniform or anything here, so it's got a vibe almost similar to an adventuring company. Though you do note that there are some people in these white robes that are going around. They seem to be scholars or record keepers of some kind.
Do look like lab
And
coats.
no, they just look like long robes, regal priest-like robes. Um, and as you make your way down several flights of steps, you can see that most of these branch off into a series of doors that seem to be similar, like nexus points, like the one that you just saw. People are opening the doors, and there's a wall of light, and people are stepping in and out of them. And you can tell from the languages and sometimes just like the bit of weather coming in with the people on either side that they're connected to places all over the world, perhaps even beyond. And deeper and deeper until you get to a large vault door, heavy, ironclad, about 50 feet wide and 50 feet high. It is monolithic, and it looks like a titan would have trouble trying to manually open this. But as you approach, steps underneath Pridwin's feet are just lighting up with these arcane sigils, and you see similar ones lighting up around that vault door, spinning and spinning in different colors, like a complicated combination lock, too fast for you to be able to note. And as you get just within reach to where the door would be able to swing open, you see as he comes to a stop and the last one clicks and it pulls in wide just a foot in front of him before coming to rest open, and you see beyond it the brain room. Vashti says, "This is where most of the research and development is done. Of the super intelligence created by Fitz and Locke, we are able to put together clues from our agents around the world at incredible speeds. Some might say godlike."
Amazing. Zill's like wide-eyed, and
You see at the other end of it this large monolithic figure, and as you approach, it says, "Stars and Sea Society. Welcome."
do you
Well,
this-
well. Suddenly it fritzes out, and you hear, "Don't start it! Hurry up! Grab it! Grab it! Grab it! Oh, dear God! Ah! And a bunch of sparks come out from the back of it. Stabilizes. Oh, never mind. Don't worry! You don't need to sound the alarm. What was that? What was that? This high-pitched voice comes out from the other side of it, way over here. And he's like, "I slept with... It's not worth talking about."
trick? Huh.
I'll admit, That probably eased the nerves a little.
Alright.
As the thing stabilizes, it goes, "Welcome, Stars and Sea Society. I am Primus. How may I help you?"
Kind of looks to Pridwin. Kind of like raises the eyebrow, like, can I ask a question?
Ask it any question you want. I'm curious to see what comes to mind first.
Uh, Probably as I have the question that comes to my mind, it's like, oh. So, like, upon this for a minute, he's like, what is the key? He holds up his gauntlet.
As soon as you hold it up, the entire gauntlet lights. Multiple parts of the metal ring on it suddenly detach and float out of it. And instantly, you feel this surge of energy go through you as haste is cast at your body. And this beam of light connects all the way into Primus's open hand, right into the middle of his palm. Then suddenly it sputters out. The haste goes out. You're hit with this wave of lethargy. And it says, "The key is one of 3 parts. It is made of absolutely impossibly refined animite, capable of storing a infinite amount of energy."
So it kind of comes back after the lethargy a minute, kind of taking breaths.
The other 3 parts would be made from filled parts of the spark and shadow. Distilled spark is an as yet unofficially created development. It is known in Necropolis.
Okay.
And give me just a second. I'm getting to the list to remember the whole list.
I am writing this shit fucking down. Hey guys.
This guy.
Hey. This is a major
Goddamn Zale at it again.
Omado.
I see.
Anisadora's urn.
Oh.
And
Oh.
in secret research facilities held by Wyxobolt Gowalt. Suddenly you see a map pop up and it's of yellow, and you see a bunch of highlighted portions which you can kind of determine are several of the cities from your familiarity with the maps. And then it winks out, and then it says, "Refined." The last fortress in the dream after.
Gotcha. 4 locations from the spark and then 1 for the shadow.
It was signed by Pridwin Co.
Kind of look back at him.
773 years ago. Pridwin. Oh, did I leave that part out?
No, I had a suspicion. That just pays to be right on the money, on my gut feeling.
However, I did not make it. It is one of many designs that I drew up over the years. One that it would seem that the treacherous Kumo Suchi used. How he managed to set such a plan into motion, I am still looking into.
Interesting. So I'm guessing you also know what this does? No. 3.
Yes. It's a control device. The
Control.
ancient used the power to a gregarious fact. Even so much as to use it to lock their doors. Thus, the key. By being able to store infinite amounts of energy, it can store the power of a single edict. None of any true power. What one might consider to be a letter and a word. Useful and able to open any mundane door. Though for now, it would seem that it's delegated to opening doors the old-fashioned way.
Interesting.
If it were to be completed, it could open the doors to heaven itself. Now, wouldn't that be something?
Huh.
Vashti at this point. Fitz! Locke! We have guests! There's fumbling metal. You hear the sound of whirring of sounds like things screw sounding. Shing, shing. And then all of a sudden these two from around behind it. And you look at both of them. One's got this shock of pink hair and a matching pink goatee. And the other one, a woman, has this big old bee on it that is the same size as her body. And in it are an abundance of tools stuffing and sticking out of it. And Kelly immediately rushes in and is like, I gotta say, I've never seen anything quite like this. How long did it take you to work on it? Did you build it yourself, or were you merely maintaining it? That seemed like pretty dangerous earlier. What was happening? And they go, oh, it wasn't anything. I promise you it wasn't anything, honey.
Because it didn't sound like nothing. What was it?
Let me guess. You almost collapsed the universe in again. Almost is the key word. Almost. She pulls a wrench out of her head and throws it at him, and it bonks him on the side onto it for a moment, and you see as Vashti kind of turns and gives like a very still. She never looks embarrassed somehow, right? Even during all of this, she's got this very calm-looking demeanor about
Mm.
her, and she's, by the way, very young-looking for what this would seem. All right, Fire Genasi don't live does. But here she is next to the perhaps the gnomes could have been in this for a long time. The vampire could have been at it from the beginning. And you're looking at that night elf, and it's, I mean, gosh, there's something practically angelic about the way she spoke. There's obviously something going on there. She could be just as old as this building for all you know, but Genasi kind of stands out a little bit in this group, and yet she stands out even more by her calm demeanor. And she says, "They are always in their work, as geniuses usually are. They've helped us with quite a few breakthroughs, other than maintaining Primus here and creating it. They've also been responsible for many of the magical artifacts and items that keep most of our agents safe and informed." And they're kind of like, suddenly you look back, and the one who had been knocked in the head is recovering, and realizing that Kelly and his wife are engaged in technical wording of jumbo, and then right into it, and when says, uh, "We really should, and let them finish that important work. There is other things we must discuss, but if you have more questions for Primus, please do."
What are the bounds of the knowledge Primus possesses? Is it omniscient to a reasonable degree?
It is not omniscient. It's collected since our founding.
Okay. Does the knowledge span only within this universe or across many?
At this point in time, the Dark Elf speaks. "What do you know about the precursors?"
Only the stuff I've heard in stories. Some from my ancestors, some from books.
Dwarves, Eladrin, and orcs all come from other places. But so do many gnomes, the Tabaxi, and all of the Fae.
Hmm.
They are outsiders, but we can learn much from the unexpected. Brave Albion has handled the relationships and influence of outsiders in Bartor for thousands of years. With the 7 houses of the Order of Saints' Blood, we've protected the world from many apocalyptic threats, recruiting aid from worthy adventurers like yourselves when the threat calls for it. We've been looking at the Stars and Sea Society very closely as of late. Barak of Brilliant Pillar thinks highly of you after your recent visit. He looks at you, Hanu.
Gives a slight nod.
And again, those of you that passed earlier, you hear her speaking just as she's speaking. The rest of you, it's lyrical and musical and in a way just inspiring. And that's when Pridwin turns and he looks and he says, it has the knowledge of all the precursor, the knowledge of this waking dream,
Mm.
and the knowledge that I gave it from the
Okay.
dream before,
Oh, okay. Mm.
combined with a vast intellect. It can come to conclusions outside of the gathered facts to a certain degree.
Oh, okay. I just have a really stupid and slightly mundane question, so I can wait if anybody else has any reasonable things to bring up and ask.
He so kind of remembers a recent conversation. Turns around. Primus, what is the wild hunt?
The wild hunt is a myth shared by many cultures, found in Urat, Xiaola, the Frostwarns. It is believed to be the source of how souls of great warriors are called to join either the forces of good or the forces of evil. Field reports from Mar Wolford. A bunch of text pops up on front of you, just floating in the air. Looking at it, it seems to be like journal pages, but like without the pages, just the words written in fire in the air. And a bunch of them just seems to be him notating people that claim to have seen the wild hunt. There's notations of evidently nobody. There's no reports of anybody that. So there's that you see there that seems to indicate that it's anything other than like a myth that people have shared and seen that, or it's something that when interacted with people don't survive, or something else. It's hard to tell. There are no witnesses. Explain what happens after it erupts. And then the text disappears out of the air. Kind of store it in the back of your mind, scouring over the details of it. Turn in very field journal like. You recognize the handwriting. Your mind is running with it, but it's nothing more than myth.
Mm-hmm. To furrow his brow a little. Hmm. Is he lying again? Maybe he's on to something I don't know.
When Babette was the Goblin City under Lake Avil.
No. It's just it wasn't written in there with a name on it. It was just written that there's a goblin city underneath the lake.
Oh, okay.
It was through context of like maps and other research that you were able to figure out that it was even Lake Avil they were talking about.
Oh, okay.
Actually, I do actually have a legitimate question now that I remember. And she's going to take out the piece of paper that she had had Cac translate through the many days before, from when we were in Maiko's eye. She did write down something that was in Dwarvish, and she would ask for if it is familiar with this place.
Oh fuck that shit.
Maiko's eyes. Designated. Class S.
She turns back. I guess I don't have clearance for that. Okay.
Class S means that we are looking into it,
Oh, gotcha.
but as of yet have no leads
Mm,
due to the extreme danger of investigating.
okay.
Interesting.
All right. And then after everybody else is
A map pops up when it said that, though, and it did pop out and show all of the ones that they had designated and
okay.
found a bunch of them and plotted where
Found.
they are. They just can't get in.
Okay.
Any like but we got in, right?
Mm-hmm.
We got in one.
Remember, it was dangerous, though.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was highly dangerous, but
Right.
any kind of weird because that like does any kind of weird kind of connection points looking at all of them on the map? Anything like
Give
line up?
me a history check.
I will give you some advantage there. She's just leaning in. You're like, I know that look.
Alright.
I'll
27.
give you some guidance too.
Looking at it,
30.
30.
they're all awfully nearby. Give me just a second. Boop, boop.
Hell yep. History proficiency.
Yeah, just like.
So, they're all nearby what seem to be ley line points, and some of them are very close to elemental temples, the ones that are like near the ocean. You note that everywhere you knew there was an elemental temple, there was there seems to be an eye right by it.
Mhm.
And if there's a ley line, there's an eye there.
Interesting. Looks like it's corresponding with ley lines and elemental temples.
Yeah. I think
You
so,
see
too.
as it graphs across all of it, the ley line and elemental temple things as you mention it.
Yeah, she's nodding along with this. Okay, no, yeah, I can see it. And then grunts a little
I mean,
bit.
if it was her purpose to gather knowledge. Interesting.
Mhm.
We are working on it.
Mhm.
However, Maiko is not our concern at the moment.
Mhm. Look,
It might even prove to be our salvation.
it's just. No, it's like,
Yeah.
if you do want witness accounts of at least that eye, points to the one by Makaro. Both of us went through it. Give you some recounting. Left quite the impression.
At that, the vampire says, I would very much like to hear that account. Perhaps we might discover together some details that were left amiss.
Pats Sale hardly on the back. This guy has a great memory, so he can probably fill in any blanks that I have.
I will schedule you an appointment.
Alright.
And with that, Pridwin looks at the rest of you. Any more questions?
Yeah, she looks around to everybody else.
Is there any information on potential consequences of the Griffin's Perch disaster over Lake Avale?
Much information. You might want to refine your question. As you see, he puts his hand up and he waves it, and this arcane glyph kind of goes through the air. And Primus, who had been raising his hand, lowers his hand back down as you're asking that question. It might overload your mind with less specific questions.
Babette's just gonna take a second and decide, fuck it, and ask, will the Griffin's Perch disaster affect the Goblin City beneath Lake Avale?
Gives a quizzical look at Bobette.
Reports from druids and spellcasters Avale indicate that there was increased activity across these fault lines. And you watch as a map in Lake Avale pops up, and then you see this subdermal out, and you can see the winding caverns that form underneath the base of the crust of the planet. And you can see where a fault line kind of goes through underneath Lake Avale. And based off of this, there was very likely very considerable seismic activity in the vicinity. Ruins in the area could have suffered severe damage. Further investigation from field agents required. You watch as of the ruins that are down there. As you can see, there appears to be a big central building surrounded by 4 buildings at the cardinal point. And based off of the projection of it, it looks like the whole top half of the central building would have been collapsed inwards as it had split in half from the seismic activity. And the others would have received various amounts of damage.
And after asking that question, is she getting any funny looks?
Oh, Zell's looking at you.
Yeah.
I mean, there's an eyebrow lifted.
Eliza's
It would
also.
seem that doing the can sometimes have unforeseen consequences. It is an unfortunate necessity of a very necessary job.
No, you are right about that.
I did have a personal question, but I believe your coordinator might be able to be more intimate with the knowledge. How would I remove this? And then Zarman will flip forward the amulet of health that he's stuck wearing.
She looks at it. Oh. She walks over. She just yanks it off.
Thank you. I tried that so many times it didn't work out well for me.
Hannah will put herself in.
It must have sensed your pure heart.
Zarman raises an eyebrow.
She tucks it into a pocket and takes another step back.
Hannah just stands guard by Zarman, eyeing the necklace just in case it's gonna snap back.
I just like the idea that Hani puts her hand on Zarman's chest, make sure it doesn't come back.
And it's just no.
I guess I do have one other thing, but he kind of turns to Pruden. Can this thing... Can this thing read artifacts? Or what once were artifacts?
That was never in its original design. But who knows if it was altered in some devious way?
Alright, let's try that.
I don't know. Would this be a good room for pulling it out?
I don't think it'd be too bad. I mean,
I'm talking about the shield and the sword? Or...
yeah.
This is what I meant by something interesting happened downstairs. And Indarman will pull out the head of the Sun Spirit.
Oh, that. Oh,
Yeah.
okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, talk about
You
both, but
found
also...
it. After all. Hmm.
Found
The
is
circumstance of how we had received it again has us questioning if it's been tampered with at all.
Incredible. You see, as the Genasi makes a symbol of Saint Ava in front of her, seeing it, and Gwen kind of her eyes just immediately rest on it, and you can just see as almost there's like a glow emanating off of her as it's brought closer.
I think for that we should wait not in this room.
And of course, Indarman will put the head of the Sun Spirit back in the bag of holding. And Zarman will walk behind us. Where is the location of the Rhyme Lord?
The Rhyme Lord is on the frozen steppes. And you see as a map of Trakiasna 3D graphs itself up in front of you. And you can see the icy giant steps going up into the Baltaine. And a very familiar silhouette of a broken tower on a hill.
Okay.
Alright, that's I guess this is just my last thing. Primus, and he takes out the scimitar and the shield. Can you do a scan of these? The original form. Before they were cursed.
See as suddenly the shield and the sword just unbuckle themselves, scabbard and everything, and it just draws itself out and floats up. And then for a moment, they snap right back towards each other with such force that there's this resounding ding, like a gong. And as it does so, you hear no records. And
It's
it
like,
floats right back towards you.
Yeah, fix them.
Buckles itself back onto you and everything.
Guess maybe having to use kind of a divine nature then.
There are limits to what it can know.
Yeah, I was just interested in seeing what its limits were. That is good to know. I have no further questions at the moment. Kind of looks around.
Hanu's been scratching her collarbone where her owl is, but she had given her owl to Fee before. So she's just scratching emptiness in her cloak and like, okay, anybody else is finished, right?
Yes, I think we do have important discussion to talk about.
Oh, okay. So, and just looks over to Promise. You don't have to really answer this if you don't have the, if don't have all the information out there, but just maybe give me some reference or some idea that I know in one universe, or like I guess apparently failed timeline, Takaroa kind of disowned me and stuff, but is there any possibility in another one that, the High Priestess kind of did the same thing? Just, just I didn't want to ask her.
Probability right now.
I know, she's like, I don't want to ask her with with the divination spell.
She loves me.
She's rambling, but like seriously, she's a very important figure most of my life. I just want to make sure that I didn't disappoint her in any way, that she would ever disown me. Okay, I'm gonna talk now.
You are la 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 la.
How did you just break it?
And all of a sudden, you hear as Fitz and Locke like let out squeals and go, "Cold Red!"
Oh gosh.
And they run into the back, and you hear like as several sparks go off, and then we're clear.
Okay, keep this. Zella walk up, put hands on her shoulders, like, maybe not ask those kind of questions.
Okay, I won't, but I didn't want to say that to her face, because then she would know, and
Honey, it's okay.
fine.
Calm down. Calm
Okay,
down. He
I'm
got
calm.
it.
I'll be honest, I'm surprised they survived 5 minutes.
Okay, yeah. She just takes a deep breath, like, okay.
Calm down. He's now repeating awkward. Calm down.
Okay.
Calm down.
She's taking some deep breaths now. I'm calming down.
There's a wary just kind of like sigh, smile. Until that's looking behind him to the rest of Brave Albion.
Yeah, that's their general reaction to that.
There's a smile from both Constantine and seems to be like she either looks serene or she's smiling politely, and Pridwin looks exactly the same as he always does, and the you see as well that the dark elf is also surprisingly like beaming the biggest smile out of the group at the
Love our fucking staring.
She just like mumbles under her breath to Zale and Aquan, "Hey, I know I have problems. I'm not afraid to admit them, but that's just one that was weighing down heavily on me, okay?"
Your love for each other is quite admirable. In fact, it is why I recommended that perhaps you should be the ones to replace Brilliant Pillar's position. Or at least work in tandem with them. And you see as the Dark Elf casts a look over and Vashti says, "Yes, there is no doubt that you are capable and kind people. Research into you, through methods of subterfuge, of course, have proven that you are good. But, Brilliant Pillar, and we will need all the help that we can for what is to come. Still,
Yes.
you know how things go. Someone will still want to know who the new mind of justice is. After all, Brilliant Pillar has never acted without a mind. Or, sorry, Brave Albion has never acted without a mind." Looks at Gwen with that. And with that, he walks a few steps past you guys and says, "What we should discuss next is exactly what it means bringing you in. Vashti says, following in step with him as you guys begin walking back. What he means to say is that we face a great foe, the devil himself, a fact of which I hear you are intimately familiar.
Yeah, the avatar of the devil actually had the sun spear head when we last saw it.
Yeah, and almost killed us too.
Here is the dark elf. As how did you retrieve it back?
Zarman will describe what exactly happened down there, including the fact that, after the conflict and, detail for detail, not leaving anything out. Else from Marina.
That is a bold move.
Still not sure who that man was.
Vashti steps in and says, he is known as the engineer.
No, so he's that guy.
He was
At one
at
point in
Griffin's
time,
Perch.
we thought about employing him before realizing that he has no moral code. Still, his genius is perhaps one of the greatest. Next, coming up on a very short list. She looks, kind of just smirks a little and continues walking without missing a step. You guys make your way back up through these steps. Those vault closes behind you and seals shut. And you step onto the checkered floor, looking all the way up, and he turns and looks at the others and says, I appreciate you coming to give them such a warm welcome. But I know that you have many things to attend to. Tell me. You called for Mar, yes. Vashti nods. Good. And has he arrived yet? He has. They all exchange glances. And you see as members of Brave Pillar who'd kind of been mingled out, or not Brave Pillar, Brave Albion, who had been mingled throughout your group, kind of all come to stand together. Cridwin kind of in between you once more as you make your way all the way back up to the top. And they all give a low bow. Almost like they're just standing right next to each other at the waist deep bows to each one of you. And Cridwin nods to each of them. We will talk about the rest in more familiar settings. My study should do nicely. And he turns the and it opens, sheet of white. As you're back once more in Pridwin's study. And that is where we're going to take a quick break. About 15 minutes, guys.
I feel like that is very uncomfortable being in here. Because literally, yeah, the only time. Oh wait, no, yeah, because it's.
Yeah, it's your only. The only time was in 1983.
Yeah, so Babette is not like this.
You still there? Because after she did that, did Zarman instantly unattune from it?
Yes, you did.
Perfect.
Immediately.
I just like, oh, she pockets it. Thanks.
I mean, it's family heirloom, man.
Yeah, it's for their family. It's the way its curse works, you know.
Yeah, only a
and
family
Summer
would
didn't
take-
want it anyway. So
Either someone that is of lawful good alignment, neutral good or lawful good. Chaotic is the only one that it doesn't allow. They're good or lawful. If you're both, then it really, is
It stinks.
liking you.
You're pure of heart.
it just tries to face grab you.
Yeah,
Yep.
my
Motherfuckers.
love.
All of a sudden, it looks over to Babette and it's like,
Ugh.
Hacks the boogie.
no.
Right?
Also, totally Zell wants to go back to the fucking brain room again, guys.
Of course
Zell
he
has a
does.
lot of shit he wants to talk,
Alright, I'll
but he
be right
knows
back.
like,
Oh,
okay,
you just want to go talk. You just want to go. Yeah. It's an open resource for you guys.
Yeah, alright.
Really?
Yeah.
I'll be
You
right
can
back.
have fun research there.
yeah, no, I there's a lot of there's a lot of questions, also discussions on things he's gonna build, especially the time slip with the shutter space. So, I mean, he is highly interested, but he knows there's an important conversation we need to have because we need to know why we're getting brain into all of this. That's also knowledge.
Therapist has said if you put her space, though, she's got to tell her therapist.
Get the meds.
Hey, I get to have a meeting with your therapist later.
Yeah.
Oh.
And we just go back to Nance,
I-
and none of that ever happened. We just keep walking around with the grand. We don't give a shit.
I
I mean,
feel
it's
like
already anyway.
I feel like I haven't been here before.
That's fair.
That is.
Yeah, no, I guess Ember is the only one who's like, yeah, this is a cool place. And
Yeah.
everyone else
Yeah.
is just like, drama.
Everyone else is
Oh.
freaking out, and he's walking in, going, "Ooh, oh, wait, guys, I feel like I've never been here before."
Yeah, Frederick hasn't been here either. This is the first time for Frederick as well.
No, come on.
Frederick was probably like having a wreck as we're discussing like weird shit and asking weird questions to the robot.
Yeah,
Like,
he's
I want to
not-
ask questions to the robot.
He probably was thinking like also with the gauntlet too. I'm probably gonna hear a handful from Frederick when we get back for all of this. You had, I knew I was right.
He's
I
been
didn't know
mumbling
that.
to himself since he got here.
Yeah. But a bit, Eliza too. Eliza has fucking probably multiple things she's running her through.
Meanwhile, Zarman and Eliza actually hear her actual disinterest while everybody hears the bardic shit going on.
I don't know what you're talking about. She had a really beautiful voice, guys.
Like, she was speaking. I don't understand what you're talking about.
What are you talking about? It was like almost awe-inspiring.
Yeah, melodic, yeah.
Huh.
You're weird. So just like looks at Sarvey.
If she was singing, I probably wouldn't have asked her how to take it off.
I mean, it sounded like she was basically seeing every word. And
Well, I mean, in some ways, Celestial always does sound like you are singing, so she's probably speaking a variant of it, or I don't know, something else is afoot. But
I don't know. It was nice though.
yeah, it was. Yeah.
It's very pleasant to the ears. It's Eliza and Tarver just look at the rest of them like, what the fuck are they talking about?
Mhm.
I fell for a woman.
Would it be the first time?
It's very confused.
Right. Zarman's confused by that too. Once that conversation probably gets brought up.
Especially with Babette, because, like, first of all, she's spellcasting. Secondly, what? What's going on?
Yeah,
That
they're
would-
definitely I was just saying, there's definitely a look that Zell is just giving to Babette of like, we need to talk later.
Where'd you get that information?
Where'd you get? Okay, first off, your therapist.
I'm so glad Babette asked first, because for some reason Zell's attention's on the first weird question and not on the second one that Zarman asked. Perfect.
He remembers what you said. He has questions for you. He just has Babette to talk to you first, and then he'll answer what did he ask you.
Yeah, Zarman asked where the rhyme board is.
Yeah, no, he gave both of you a freaking, Group is not talking about information right now.
I mean,
We need to talk.
Zale knows that he has to corner Zarman in the coffee room or at the break room. He's like, okay, listen, bro.
Listen.
He can stare down Babette all he wants, and everybody's fine with it. It's like, okay.
No, Zell.
The note that I know that there ain't a single one of you that don't know that it can't be a coincidence that they named their fucking super AI computer after the god of mechanists.
You know, I fucking.
What do you mean named after?
Yeah, that's what they're saying too. What do you mean named after?
Right, honestly, that was my first thought when you mentioned it. I was like, oh, okay, that's him. Cool. They've just
that's
locked
the
him
god.
up. Right.
Yeah.
Good job.
No,
They just tapped into him, you know? Just, hey, bro.
no. They, no, any efficient, sufficiently intelligent AI become any of them is just an avatar of him at that point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Sounds
exactly.
about right.
Yeah, yeah. Alright, the audio is kind of cutting in and out. I think it just might be a connection thing, but if it does, I don't know if I'm gonna jump
I'll
back.
smoke a cigarette.
No, it was happening before. It just didn't. I was hoping throughout. I just didn't want to like cut the session.
I
being
mean,
like,
most of
bro.
it was still going through, so it wasn't really worth mentioning. Enough of it was getting through that, we understood.
That's for everybody else, though.
Yeah.
Sometimes Mashad will have it, and sometimes you'll have it. So that's what I'm like.
Oh, it might be a you thing.
I don't.
Keep stuff.
I don't know if I need to
Weird.
clear my cache or not again, but I'm like, I don't know if everybody else is having that issue.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They do
depending.
that, so.
Their cache. Especially when you record, you leave a lot of cache, I think.
Maybe.
Yeah.
And of course, your disk is going hard, trying to record shit while going, so,
Yeah.
you're just working overtime.
Yeah.
You'll see. Okay.
Yeah. So it's
Oh man.
a good thing it doesn't have anything of divination yet. Yet, I say.
So clearly, it could have calculated the probability of me ever disappointing, the one figure who plays very important in my life. So,
Pretty much, it's pretty.
I need a probability
It's
thing
pretty
here.
much It's pretty much a living legend lore spell.
Yeah.
Is what they created. Was a living legend lore spell.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And then you try to ask what
I'm just
fucking
saying.
explodes.
Listen, I know
That's
it's
just
That could be a lot of love, Haru.
so.
Yeah, there are obviously a couple of kinks in this thing. Ask too broad of a question, it might flood your mind with so much information that you fucking die from mental overload. But a commoner shouldn't play around with this thing.
Yeah.
That's for certain.
Alright,
Yeah.
let's find a group of commoners and bring them in.
Yeah. Or you
What
ask,
is the meaning of life? Like, that is
I need to see what happens.
The last word they say before they die is 42.
I'll go.
Yeah,
ask
no,
him.
Babette was trying to be coy about her question and was like, okay, I guess I just gotta actually say that I got all the knowledge.
Mhm.
Not all-
That's why.
Yeah, kind of have to
Tried to play coy and you would have died if Ferdinand wasn't there now.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. So interesting. It doesn't as it was saying, it doesn't know knowledge that wasn't even put in there. So it's in a weird sense it is legend lore, but for collective knowledge.
It probably wouldn't kill you guys. It's a pretty hefty amount. It would kill
It hurts,
commoners,
but
but it would hurt. It would hurt, but it wouldn't. Yeah.
Would it hurt as much as like what Takara Talk to Me hurt?
Yeah, kind of like that. Yeah.
Because that was a lot of hurt.
Listen, I know I'm not the best chosen.
Downloading the Matrix is a painful process.
Yeah.
Yeah. Talking to a god's a painful.
So yeah, so now you know why I didn't want to ask her specifically with divination, okay? Because that would just be very comfortable at both our ends.
Yeah.
Mentally trying to reason why it's like, don't want to ask.
Sword and Shield are interesting though. That is definitely interesting.
Sorry.
It couldn't read it, or because we don't know how to get. Well, or the chariot is, in a sense, cloaking. I don't know.
Or it just hasn't been recorded, or it just.
Yeah, that's what I'm also thinking. That's one of the primary things that hasn't been recorded, since it's not really like a divination. That's what Zell said. It's like not really divine. It's not, breaking through complete veils. It's more of a information through thousands of years, which we can make it seem like a god if you think about it, but not necessarily to see through veils or even other gods. So, no, TV back down there. There's probably definitely someone that has this legend lore. That's one of the guys in the white robes.
Yeah.
Hey, look at this.
Hey, well, you gotta do this one side quest for me, kiddo. Oh boy.
I just want artifacts.
Well, it's not like this. You have to put it in a queue, and I have to make sure it is, going through the proper footwork. But if you do give me a little something, as a little gift by doing the side quest, I could jump it up to be like the second or third one in my row.
So you are adventuring guild, gotcha.
Yes, we are.
Just hand me the quest.
How many chickens am I collecting? No.
I mean, just because
How many chickens am I collecting this time?
Yeah, just because you're the new, employees doesn't mean you have any seniority over here. But I could be swayed,
What am I gathering through you?
Well,
is it 3 or is it 33?
How many legend lores you want?
1?
Starts to sound like an auction person.
Yeah. It's like he was like 1?
Oh, I want to know where this crown is from. Well.
Oh man, I would love the nice artifacts to give to. I guess we're also proving ourselves. I mean, I guess we'll get access to it after we have this conversation. The figure out this fucking conversation goes. Yeah, but get all his.
Yeah, the tension is immediately back on her shoulders after she stepped out and into the study.
Yeah, no, Cell is.
She looks highly uncomfortable right now.
Yeah, there's definitely like tension back. Almost like he's ready, like to spring for any kind of reaction. Let's be reaction to everything.
Mm-hmm.
He does not like imprudent steady. Because I mean, the first time he went here, he was with Zarman, and it's kind of disgusting. The war, and even then, he was kind of really tense. Cause it's like, this guy not really explaining
room, right? It's like this room has an association now.
Yeah, and then it just gets worse. And in 1983, we had our boss fight here. We almost all died. And it had to fight a bunch of evil creatures and everything.
Are there other members of Brave Albion here, or is it just Pridwin?
It's just Pridwin.
Okay.
Yeah, he said we'll take the rest of this conversation somewhere more homely. And, everybody else seemed to be busy with things.
Yeah. I mean, it's busy work at Shield right now. Forever this enemy we're about to find out.
Hail Hydra.
Hell Hydra. Oh man. Yeah, because I mean, we just got the Avengers. Hey, welcome to Shield, guys. Welcome to the Secret Crew. Real shit happens. Here's where the real shit happens, and here's where the real fucking information comes online. Oh, this is gonna be great. Oh, I am nervous.
Okay. So, as you walk back through the door into Pridwin's study, makes his way all the way to the end, and you can see standing off to the side, just finishing up carving into the wood. You heard the sound scraping across it. This figure. See to be a human. Bald head, but shaved, half 5 o'clock shadow. Wearing very Avalonian garb, long coat, and they stand up and look at all of you and go, "All right, well, don't mind me. Pretend I'm not even here." Does exactly that. Turning and look
Sarman
back
will
at
look
each of
over.
you.
Yeah, and then to that remark, Sarman would say, I tend to be more inclusive of conversations. What's your name? As Fredwin's turning around and ignoring him.
This is Mar Wolford. He's somewhat of our expert at demonology in Brave Albion.
Huh.
Expert. That's what they start to call you when you don't die enough.
Over kind of slowly. Hi, nice to meet you. I'm Joe Wolfon.
Listen, Zale Wolford, I'm here for about half an hour. And there's a lot to unpack, I'm certain. Yeah, you got a look of... Well, there's a lot there. We don't have time for that bullshit right now, so maybe, keep your big boy britches on, and... Good luck.
Yeah,
Lights a cigarette.
yeah, we'll talk later.
He
Steps
is
up.
often quite busy. Other than Ezio, looking at Eliza. Few in our organization travel as much as he does.
Yes, well, he's
We are all going to be quite busy in the coming days. For when I said that Armageddon and the end of days was upon us, I was not being metaphorical. You have
But
traveled the ebbs of time. You know how the universe spreads out. There is a future coming for us all. The dream cycle was designed by inescapable, and none of us could ever hope to outsmart the gods we very clearly wanted to do. Therein lies our true problem. Gods fight for good and righteousness. They are largely indifferent to our existence. For what is one world when there is an infinite number of them? In this timeline, when Takaroa, or the Warden, or the Moon has a champion in you all the same, our lives seem so meaningless from their perspective. They cannot to truly empathize with us. Thinking of them as being like kindred, with free will, wants and desires, hopes and dreams. That would be true folly. They are nothing more than elements of nature, and chief amongst them, dangerous to all kindred, is the Lord of Lies. Called by the order of Asmodeus by a new name. He has had many over the years, but we cannot forget that he is both a god and the enemy. But to truly understand why, I must first ask, Hanu Stormconch, what do you know about what is said of the beginning of the world? What is the creation myth that you learned? You were taught by the Archwicca, were you not? In Bedawang.
That is
I
correct.
know exactly what doctrine he believes. It is one shared by many, but it is incomplete. However, in it stand some important details. Tell me, what do you recall of this tale?
And she will slowly nod and go over one of the spinning marbles, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Right, she'll talk about the Great Game and how it ended up being, it's not really a competition, but the fool was on the high priestess had asked the fool to help her with this game, knowing that the devil will have something up his sleeve. And I think there was another. This is me just rambling, but she would know it right off the bat. But then,
Mm-hmm.
he was trying to pull a fast one, and all of a sudden the fool bumped right into the table, and all the marbles had scattered, and the high priestess managed to snag one. And thus the elemental planes of chaos began to take form into their respectable realms.
Yes. The elemental chaos. That which from all matter is derived. In every dream cycle, the stories say that it was the spinning of that marble that brought order to the universe. It's much more than that. Before the beginning, in fact, many gods. But for this story, only 3 that mattered. Not known by the names we think of now. No fool, no empress. Just those that existed outside of the chaos. The beginning to them was an endless sea of chaos that threatened the very order necessary for existence. Everything they had created, every thought, sound, smell, mountain, and molecule, none were possible in this endless sea. As it flooded across infinity, most of the gods fled. But not those 3. For one of them had been caught in the middle of this maelstrom. Most dedicated to order chose to remain behind. Twins. Entwined, together they consumed the endless sea, turning order to the universe. The rest of the minor gods had fled the universe's chaos, but as they remained, they saw the endless sea was cleared. Whole world. But as they looked upon it, they were ruined. Something this world during the chaos. They called the corrupted life on this planet Batorians. And in the oldest record, Acheron Peninsula, Bator is the oldest name for our world. With a knowing smirk, as he, the serpents separated for the first time. As one went to fight against the monstrous Batorians, the other sought out the source of this corruption. And they found it. Deep beneath the planet lay a shard that resonated true evil. Yes. Prideful bandit, or a hungry cutpurse, or a lecherous king. But true evil, in its purest form. The serpent, named, took hold of this shard, its place in the world. It drove it to the brink of madness. Seeing the madness, the other serpent, busy battling hordes of Batorian chaos, flung themselves away, taking many wounds in the process, sinking their teeth into Jazirian and tearing them away from. In the process, Jazirian's true form is said to have split into 3 parts. This is where our parts of the soul first came. One part law, one part absolute neutrality. and one part chaos. Those who discover the names of the avatar of chaos are often driven mad as a result. But it is not there is Dune we need worry about here. He smirks as he watches that cross over you. This brief wait as you wonder whether or not it's about to creep in. Nothing happens and he smiles. Obscure texts all confirm that the chained god remains chained. Two parts of Jazarian. One became the deity we call the Emperor. The identity of the avatar of neutrality is one debated by mummies and sandy tombs like Urat. But it is not one that concerns us. It is the one who imprisoned the mad god that is our concern. The other serpent, Jazarian's twin, who imprisoned the mad god. Their name we do not speak lightly. If said, he can reach even into denial themselves history. It was only by scouring ruins, deep wastes, that I discovered it. It is a name to achieve the only meaningful battles and victories we have managed against the devil. And it is our greatest weapon against him. Learning it can give you great strength in the days to come and prove to be an important clue in the puzzles we are trying to solve. The puzzle of stopping Armageddon, of ending the dream cycle that ruins all progress and destroys all dreams. For once and do not ignore free will. The devil acts as our greatest enemy. The devil, the serpent, who imprisoned Tharizdun, mad god, took the shard of evil and with it killed the very god they had sought to save. Tharizdun had clearly gone mad as they thrust the shard into Kishara's heart. The old universe died. The armies of chaos crumbled, but so did all other life. The mad god became the chained god. And the first dream cycle became true. Because however, after imprisoning the chained god, the other serpent went to remove the shard from Kishara's heart, only to hear whispers of temptation. What was said is unknown, but this is certain. After hearing it, they could not leave this universe in their true form. It is said that their body heals from the wounds it received when trying to separate Jazarian from the shard of evil. here in the world once known as Bator, where the shard of evil still rests in the heart of Kashara, deep beneath the surface. And while their body heals here, they are still a god, still the devil, whose influence has corrupted our once loyal champions of Asmodeus. The serpent, whose name I can't until I am you understand its gravity.
Honey will hold her hand up for a slight moment, asking for permission to for a question.
He nods his head to you.
Well, how are his hand motions as he's saying this?
Behind his back
Behind his back?
the entire time.
Does he, he had mentioned that the name that he will be speaking will offer us a great boon in the days coming, or what?
Yes.
A great boon, a great clue.
Specifically how, but specifically he mentions that knowing it is something that is a powerful information and one that he's certain will be important for solving this clue, this puzzle in the days to come.
She will narrow her eyes. Knowledge is always a very heavy price. What is gained and what is lost always leaves a mark. But I ask of this, in my left hand I offer a mercy that is quick, and in my right hand a greater mercy that is forever. What? Where does this fall? If this name is of great importance, does that desperation allow us to think that this is the answer that we need to save us? Or will it just bite us in the end?
As you say, all knowledge comes with a price, a cost. The lesser of all costs is one that is visited upon, and not many. You're gonna wanna stay in this circle, right here. And he kind of like ties Seth by elbow and kind of jerks his head over there and ties Seth several nervous steps back into it.
He's extremely uncertain right now. That uncomfortable tension in her shoulders is kind of rock solid.
Whatever happens when I say this name, you must remain in that circle. No matter what.
Is the circle around here, or is it talking about around the desk?
It is not the one around the desk. It is, and I will draw it here for a second. Give me a moment. And
Hey, Wanderer. Hey, Wanderer too.
Evil Wander shows up.
Evil Wanderer shows up.
all right, you're all squeezed in here.
She will move certain people into the center.
Yeah.
Predominantly.
So on the outside, squeezing
Okay.
everybody else in the center.
She will put Gwen in the center. And Rue.
Yeah, he So I was looking at Zarman, and there's a look, because he's understanding what is fucking going on. He's starting to connect things.
So she would have Gwen be right over here.
Yeah.
And you guys
Yeah.
get in, and you point a director there, and he goes, you hear as Mar says, "Oh, yeah, I almost forgot about that part. Everybody will probably be fine. Don't worry about it too much." And she disappears.
Okay.
I still know her a little.
Yeah, I was
She'll be
concerned about
mad. But she'll be fine.
Seth is
I trust the rest of you to have good judgment.
I'm looking at
Tirana
Toronto.
goes, "Father? What is this? Necessary."
So quickly towards like Zarman and very, very quiet on the ear. Just to Zarman.
it broadcasts to everybody.
He's not doing the earpiece. He's talking because you're next to him.
Yeah.
Really quiet.
Kind of huddled, so everybody's hearing it.
Yeah, yep. Everyone's
Yeah.
gonna hear it.
Shit. I wish someone could fucking have my reading shit
You're
so I can
all-
talk in their heads.
You could always sign it to him. He has been learning some sign language.
Does Toronto sign language?
Probably.
Yes.
I mean, everybody's crowded, so if you put your hands low and we're both at the edge of the circle, I mean,
Sleight of hand.
do it.
Okay, yeah. Yep. Yeah, he's gonna sign out that.
11.
Okay.
What you signing?
Lost Toronto.
No.
Okay.
He just leaves at that short.
Walks around the desk as you guys all go into it. And you watch as he steps over towards this window right behind his desk.
Do you
Takes
know?
off his cloak and he places it across the back of it and he goes, "Knowing the name of your enemy is probably the most important step in defeating them. The serpent is everyone's enemy. The Lord of Lies, Ahriman." And as he says it, you watch as all of the panes of glass in this window crack, and a trail of blood spills down from the top of it, all the way until there's just this bubbling sheet of blood. You hear a neighing and the galloping of hoofs. And there's the sound of shattering glass, and you watch as glass explodes out from the blood and raises his hand lightly, and you see it's just arcane energy. The glass parts and misses him entirely. Before bursting out from it comes this steed, flaming mane and its back, metal armored warrior, fierce eyes coming out of it that seem to be burning with fire. You watch as another one bursts out and flanks into the other side. And then flying out right through the center of this comes this black-winged angel, which hovers right in the air. There's the thudding of footsteps, and you watch as these metallic soldiers, suits of armor with these iron-wrought masks of a stoic face, blank and expressionless, just bolted onto the armor. They carry these fearsome halberds and they march in even perfect unison as they step out, leaving bloody footprints across the floorboards. Pridwin looks unfazed. He doesn't look up at the angels. He doesn't look at the steeds that end up flanking onto either side of him. As the ironclad soldiers form a perfect circle all around him, they ignore you all entirely. Two of them, their backs are directly to you. Stepping out, you see a silhouette. "15 feet. Broad, heavy footsteps. You hear the clattering of a chain. You first see the maul across the floorboards. Beast of a creature steps through. Drips up the floor. And you see before you a creature of such imaginable terror. There's such hatred just in it. There's no scowl, no nothing in its expression. Seethes from it is nothing more than pure hatred. Horns dripping blood, it steps to the side, and you see behind it, clean and perfect, the avatar of the devil itself. So you call. Move. Pridwin. Oh, that's cute. Over at the group of you. And he stands at about 9 feet tall. Towering, regal, black hair slicked back. Staff in his hand topped with this ruby. Pridwin smiles. I thought the same when you handed over the tip of the sun spear. Yes. Well, maybe I'll take it back now. Why not? Walks around, and Pridwin says, You will not, Ahriman. Your qualms are only with me. Are they not? Up walking towards you is level with yours, Armin. He turns around. My name! And he throws this and blast of fire, and the wave of heat that goes through the area is intense. You see as all the scattered papers on the floor light up and scatter across the room from the burst of it. Parts around. Credwin is still standing there, unfazed. Oh my. Have I hit a nerve, Aruman? He walks forward and at the last syllable of his name, you hear it choked out of his mouth as he grabs him by the throat and lifts him right up. You watch as his shadow casts from the blood across his death. I will take out that lying tongue! And he reaches right in, and you watch as he rips out his entire tongue.
I'm just gonna start making a human shield in case anybody's gonna be bolting out.
Yeah, I'm already
Piranha
starting
goes
to fucking...
to burst through. I need athletics checks from Hanu, Zarmin, and Zale.
Yep. Ooh, fuck.
If I had enhanced ability, if I was able to cast that.
Fuck, do I want to use inspiration? Oh, yeah. I should probably do it, right?
Alright, I'm gonna try that again. I'm gonna probably.
Too late.
Oh, okay.
I was like,
Yeah,
can I
you
try
should.
that again with my. with.
21. No, she got
You
17.
watch as she pushes out each of you. An elbow goes back towards your nose, Zale, and as you reel back from the blinding pain of it, she kicks another one of you in the shin, and she has stepped out beyond the circle.
Channel Divinity right before, because I was like, can I re-roll this? I don't fucking.
Channel Divinity, I'll allow.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'll Channel Divinity. She needs to make an in save against.
Yeah,
17.
she's forcing the Channel Divinity against Tirana.
Yeah,
so
so she
Tirana
needs
needs
to make
an
a
intelligence save.
Yep. I'm
17.
working on it.
Because I don't think I can beat her thing.
What's your DC?
17.
She failed.
Alright, she needs to
So
re-roll
she
it again.
rerolls.
Okay. Alright. And then
So I'm like, ours
She-
is still too low, guys.
Fuck!
and with that, she breaks out through the ranks and steps beyond.
Fuck.
If we get actions at any point, let me know.
Yeah.
Because I imagine doing things right now.
Yep, I'm just gonna set something.
Damn it, why did I put that advantage thing on unless I was able to cast enhance ability? Fucking self.
Unless you were able to beforehand get.
I didn't state it out, and I could use my
Yeah.
inspiration to re-roll it again,
But we
but
can-
it's way too far now.
Yeah, we can't use inspiration. Ooh. Fuck. Damn, you rolled a 3, Zarmin. Shit.
Yeah, Zarmin hasn't passed an athletics check, I don't think, at this point in the campaign. He may have passed 1 or 2, but that's about it.
Fucking damn.
Okay. Guys, we're gonna take a 15-minute break.
Yeah.
I need to mentally prepare myself.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Can I fucking do a redo and say cast enhance ability? She would've.
Here we go. Who's ready? Who's ready to die painful, horrible deaths?
No!
Okay.
Miles Dell knows what this is,
And
and
then-
he's so. He really doesn't want you guys to go out there. He really does not want you guys to go out there.
Oh, fuck. I mean, I could try to banish her, but...
I think it's.
She's
It's
a
her
paladin.
charisma type
I know,
regarding
she
that.
is a
Yeah, it's a
paladin.
charisma save.
Okay?
I'm surprised she failed the end save, I'll be real with you.
No, she's not full paladin.
Not, yeah, she doesn't have. Yeah, she's not a full paladin. Yeah, exactly.
God damn it.
I mean, do we have any other fucking spells we could have just done? Oh.
Babette's gonna
I
try
mean,
and
the
use
problem is all of
get her
them
to
are
run
actions. So.
Yeah, no, it's reaction. Oh.
Fucking damn it.
Alright, I'll be back in a minute.
Fuck. Fuck. I don't know what to do, guys.
Fight.
Yeah, I mean, that's the only thing I can think of. Because someone is out there. If we don't, she's gonna die.
And there's a large possibility that many of us are gonna die too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess the real question is whether or not you're gonna let. I mean, because you can always bring her back to life. That's something that's possible for you guys. You know that's possible.
Yeah.
But but the real question here is whether or not you're gonna leave Tirana to die by herself, and that's the
Yeah.
thing on that.
Do we know if getting her back in the circle will do anything?
Forcibly move her in? Possibly. You don't know. You have no idea these people's dispositions. They're any of that.
Babette's first instinct on her and get her to run back.
Fucking damn it.
Don't even know if it'll work, but
Should have casted.
Oh,
I should have casted enhance ability on two of us.
Okay. All right.
Fucking damn it. That net 20's taunting me.
Yeah, I know,
Yeah,
right?
I had it on
Yeah,
advantage because I'm like I should like enhance ability. Maybe I don't know. Is this too late? Fuck. Okay, I should have cleared that out first. Oh god damn it.
I thought you got her too. I thought you're like, oh, you had advantage. Thank fucking god.
Yeah, what was her reroll? 25? It was better? Okay.
Yeah, it was better.
Well, I wasn't
Yeah,
able
the
to
only
use.
person who was going to stop that would have been Zarman.
I wouldn't have able to use unless I was able to use that enhanced ability beforehand. But that is asking way too much because I did not declare it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's correct. That's
So
fine.
that's why I'm like. And even if that was one success, I mean there was 2 failures. Even if she did have enhanced ability, she did not cast it at a higher level. Which I guess is what I'm going to be doing anyways, because it did fail since only one out of the 2 of us, so she is down a 2nd level spell slot. I'm going to play fair by that. And I'm going to mark that off of her spell list. I didn't type it out fast enough in chat, and that was why. I'm like,
I get. What are you guys thinking, by the way? I mean, since we have time right now.
I mean, unless we pull her back, she's gonna hate us. I mean, she's gonna hate us regardless if we leave her out there, or if we pull her back.
kind of a lose-lose situation.
Yeah.
But I think that one loss is much worse than the other.
Okay, so if anybody can get her back in there, Hanu's gonna wait around before stepping out, but she knows this is a bad
Yeah.
This is not fight. This is a fight that's really stacked against us.
And Zale isn't
Fucking-
hasted. So.
No.
Nope.
I have to
Nope.
activate
EA
that
tried to
shit.
use his action to grab her.
Yeah, no. That's what I'm saying. I mean, fucking true name, man. Fuck.
Subtly in my head, just as a joke, I'm like, that's probably what. That's not my name.
Fuck.
As soon as
anybody-
he ripped his tongue out, he drops. And you see that Perdwin's, I mean, he's out. I mean, like, he's out. Like, he's bleeding out extremely on the floor. And then at that point, the avatar stops and I may have gotten carried away.
Fuck.
And I'm not
Oh,
sure. I had to,
Ugh. So
Okay, and then I
clenching his
need-
fucking fist.
and Devil is so much OP for you guys that he don't even get a combat token. This right here is honestly the. But yes, with that, I'm going to.
What's everybody thinking, guys? Because I've just heard Babette.
One to try and get her in if she gets good enough initiative. If somebody could get her like baned or something.
And if we
She
can't,
has those paladin saving throws.
I know.
and if we can't, guys, are we fighting?
Zarman isn't really mobile, so if Zarman commits, he's in. So is all I gotta say.
Guys, you can prep yourselves to roll for initiative.
And Tyseth is bamfed away with Gwen, right? Or is Tyseth here?
Tyseth is here. He's being held back, but very particularly by Mar. at the moment. Roll for
Locked in.
was yeah.
He was instructed to hold him.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Don't fucking have my watery sphere.
I know.
I mean, funnily enough, Water Sphere on Toronto might be alright.
I don't have it. We didn't get a long rest. We don't.
Oh yeah.
I,
Oh yeah, you don't have
I fucking
castle slots,
wasted
do you?
it. No, I
Okay.
I
Yeah.
wasted
No,
it.
you.
No,
no,
I
you used it
fucking
properly there. Back down.
wasted it. Okay. I should have banished that thing in the first place. So.
I don't know why my initiative's at advantage.
You set it at advantage for the last combat with Zale hasting you.
Alright.
Be it. So my initiative's actually 13.
Hana rolled another fucking nat 20 fucking again. Initiative.
And you didn't set your combat token on the initiative tracker.
Yeah,
make sure you
do that.
Yeah, no, right click it, Rachel, because Hanu did it right, Zell did it right. There you go. Now it's on the tracker. There you go.
Of course, now I. So Babette's initiative is actually 13. Unless we can use the 23.
Is Zale's haste thing up?
No,
No.
he's not.
that's be.
Oh boy.
Unless a few of us do a clutch play, grab her and throw her back.
That's what I'm saying. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
I'm willing to
Yeah,
use
I'm waiting for all
inspiration.
I'm waiting for all the rounds to go back. That's why I held inspiration is for clutch play.
Yeah, no, that's for the only thing I'm thinking right now is inspiration.
'Cause we can-
Everyone grabs her.
We can only do that once since we aren't a party of 8 with inspiration.
Oh, that's not.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying. I mean, that's the only thing I think of because she'd be surprised, and because I don't think
you can right-click Eliza's token, and then there should be an icon on the right side of her when you do so of a sword, two swords crossing through a shield. You click that to throw her onto the initiative tracker, and then on tab on the upper right, you can click the dice there, and it'll roll for you.
nice. 24.
Yes.
24.
So
We're all gonna try to spend our inspiration of whoever still has it, and then try to drag Toronto back in the circle.
Yeah, 'cause basically we're pretty much this is not a fight we can win, and we have to get Toronto back in the circle or she's gonna die. Otherwise, we fully fight this, and most likely we're all gonna die.
yeah, I'm not about that.
And then if not all of us, then there's definitely gonna be casualties. So yeah, that's the choice. We can use inspiration
Clutch
for
play?
all. Yeah, for a clutch play to get her back in. That means also when we get her back in, someone needs to restrain her completely. And if that doesn't work, ugh. Yeah.
All right. I'll be right back.
Mm-hmm. Like, I'm not worried about any of these guys in this circle. I'm not worried about the two horsemen. I'm worried about these two fuckers. Yeah, I'm not really worried about these two. I'm worried about these two. Especially him. Especially him. This is just probably his fucking lieutenants. This is the fucking devil. Fucking true name.
So who's going to be in a clutch play, and what are they going to be doing?
Zarman has his inspiration, so he'll be using that to try to grapple Toronto, and since he has 2 attacks, he has 2 attempts.
All right, because we all got inspiration from the Suntown thing.
Mm-hmm.
Let's state that out.
Yeah, and whoever's used their inspiration since then probably don't have it.
Yeah, so I'll be using mine this round to banish. Or Or maybe hold person, I don't know. Both are charisma, I think, right?
Wisdom.
Wisdom for
Wisdom.
whole person, vanish for.
Alright, I
is charisma.
will do hold person. So then you would have advantage on any restraints. Maybe?
Another good option would be enhanceability Zarman, just so I would have advantage on
Let's
both
fucking get
athletics.
into this shit.
Yep, and top of the round, people spend whoever's spending their inspiration can do so for the clip.
Well, if
Zarman will spend his.
even if you do grapple her, she will try to break out of it.
Yeah, but I'll move her into the circle, and then after that, you guys figure it out. So, and of course, if she has to spend her time breaking,
What's her
Will be.
initiative?
Resistant to being charmed, right?
Zarman's immune.
No, she's an elf.
she's
She
next-
has advantage
Yeah.
on charms.
Yeah,
She's next to Zarman. She has immunity to being charmed right now, anyway.
Yeah.
If you're within
That's-
10 feet of Zarman, you have immunity
Okay,
to being
but
charmed.
where's...
Unless you can turn it off. Can you turn it off to a person?
You. Not an ally, and Zarman wouldn't do that.
Alright, so... Do we...
All of the things that Babette can do are charm based.
Yeah, and she's immune to it right now because Zarman's
Wait,
ally.
can you do? No, you can't do that. I don't want to do anything.
Panache, would Panache count?
In a hot sauce, it's not a charm. But that's the whole disadvantage on attack rolls thing.
I was like, I don't know what.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to think because I have inspiration. I just don't know what Babette could do because she's not strong.
I don't know, you got any warlock spells that could help with this, you motherfucker?
No,
Right.
unfortunately, but I mean, Babette could just turn herself into like Cack and just be physically heavy and sit on her if you can get her down.
Well,
But
the thing is, if we bring it in, we have Arthur, and we know Arthur's
Yeah.
highly athletic.
He's
Yeah, we have
yeah, he's highly acrobatic. He's decently athletic.
He has pretty good when he has
He
plus
has
7.
oh yeah, he does have that channel divinity too.
Alright, so...
Yeah, no, I'm.
What is Tirana's initiative?
Yeah, let's get it. Something we
I
don't
didn't
need.
get her in there.
That's why I'm
There
like,
we go.
It doesn't matter when we do the first round though. Because
Yeah,
we're
we
doing
just-
the
I know, but if one goes
Yeah,
wrong,
after
I
that.
need to know what the fuck to do afterwards.
Yeah. Fuck, she rolled high.
Well, does she
Sure.
have
She always
advantage on
does.
it? Does she always have
Yeah.
advantage on initiative, or was that because of
She doesn't have
science?
advantage.
So it's
Look, this
21.
is 21.
2 points down.
Yeah.
Babette's
okay,
was
so
actually 13 because I accidentally had it on advantage. Unless we go with the second initiative roll.
fuck. Have any spell.
All right. So what are y'all doing?
Okay, so Zarman does the
Alright,
clutch play with his
Fine,
point of
I-
inspiration. Well, isn't it?
I will give you enhance ability. See what happens.
And bull strength. Was there anybody else using their point of inspiration to try something?
Yeah, she's using it.
So who's all doing it?
Hanu is Zarman.
Okay.
Anybody else?
I mean, I'm not strong
We need
enough.
4
I mean,
people.
I
Four
can.
people.
Yeah, 4 people need to
Yeah.
spend it.
So I'll spend mine.
Yeah, Babette will spend hers, and she'll just body block once we get her in. Just be big.
Oh, can Eliza use her rope caster on this?
Oh,
It doesn't
Yeah.
work like that.
Fine.
Yeah, we diced up before.
Been using it on people, but it doesn't work on people.
Oh no, just to like have a
It only
tether.
works against willing people.
Fine.
But the rope itself could be handy after a certain point.
Yeah, the rope.
All right.
Okay, so Babette in the first surprise round. Since, Oh, wait, no,
Yeah.
you rolled a 13. You go lower.
mhm.
I keep forgetting. Yeah, Babette's actual
Oh.
initiative was 13 because she forgot to set her combat state before the first roll.
Update 18.
I guess I'll activate my. Oh no! I gotta save that because it'll affect her right now. I can't
Okay.
because I'll get her advantage on acrobatics. I'm not doing that.
All right. So clarify on this. All right, it's Zale, Zarman, Hanu,
Hanu.
and Babette. Okay.
Yeah.
Starting off on the top of this is Zale. What are you doing?
Can I help Zarman at all? Like give him like friendship bonus to pull her in?
Do you have athletics? Wait, are you trying to
have-
get? I'm sorry. What was the question? You said advantage.
Can I help him?
Wait. Do you have athletics? Sorry.
No, do not.
And no, you cannot. Sorry.
I got nothing that can fucking do anything. Because I can't activate my Thane, because if I activate Thane, she's gonna have advantage, so that's a no-go.
What do you have for items?
I have nothing that can lock her down, that's the thing. I have nothing that can lock her down. Like, the only thing I can do is, I mean, I can hold my action in the hand after the end of, at the end of your turn.
I mean,
No, I can't do that either.
you could try to attempt to I don't fucking know, redo a grapple, so then it might be easier for Zarman to pull her in if she tries to struggle out. I don't know. But
I mean, I don't have athletics, that's the thing.
she's right near Zarman. Whatever charisma or wisdom saving throw, she's gonna have a +3 to it, so I can't do any of that stuff with her near him.
Just has to pull her fucking in too, so I don't have. Ugh.
Nothing.
I could mind
No.
sliver her.
All right.
Yeah, Mind Sliver would probably be the
Then
best thing.
next
Next
one
is-
up is Hanu.
Alright, I will enhance ability Zarman so he can attempt to grapple, and we'll see if that can do anything at all.
All right.
And if that doesn't, I don't want her to burn through her channel divinities yet.
Yeah. All right. And then next one up is Babette.
I'm trying to decide. Like compulsion, she'll have the +3 to it.
And she's immune to charm already, so it won't work.
Oh,
It's a
compulsion's
charm
a.
effect. Yeah, it's a charm effect, so Mind Sliver is probably the best thing.
And even then, she has the Zarman Aura Protection, but she did fail and didn't save once already, I think, at this point. Right?
Yep.
For
She
the
did.
Channel Divinity.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
And it is an int, so.
Do you have Hex?
No,
I tried asking her that.
Fuck! Because you could have given her disadvantage on
I know.
dexterity. Oh, that's a really
mind
main thing.
sliver. Give her the D4 off saves.
Yeah.
All right.
Int save on her. What's the DC? 60?
Six. She fails.
She has D4 on her
Was a
save.
minus a D4 on the next save.
All right. Good shit. All right. Then that brings us to Zarman.
Oh, come on, buddy. Come on, come on.
And Zarman will use the first attack to try to grapple. And since it is enhanced ability, it has advantage. 22.
Wow.
Does it look like it got caught?
No, I mean, so you managed to grab her and wrestle up underneath her arms, and you've got her in this headlock, and you are now have her grappled.
Throw her
Zarman
inside.
will use half
If
her
it
movement.
wasn't for the -3 that they got from the D4, then that wouldn't have happened.
D4 is on saving throws only, I believe, is it?
Yep.
Oh yeah, you're right. Then you do not grapple them. Fuck. Yeah, that's right. Jesus.
And attempt number 2 for the second attack.
Okay.
22 again.
Oh yeah, advantage.
She
And
needs to make it again.
You re-roll every time it
Ah,
Oh, fucking
going
reroll
to-
that. Oh.
Use my other channel divinity.
which this saving throw for her channel divinity, she does have
Will
a
have
minus
She
D4.
was. Fuck.
save minus D4. Your DC is 17, right?
Yeah.
They rolled a 17, so even if they rolled a 1.
Yeah.
She needs to
Oh.
redo it again.
So she re-rolls her acrobatics.
Come on, come on, come on, come on, please, please.
Guys, the dice always tell the best story.
Oh my
Hell yeah.
And Anzarman will use all of his movement to just shove Tarana into this circle.
Oh my
Hell
Alright,
yeah.
Pull her back in, and you're holding her. She rails against you, and she's like, "No!" Oh, that's touching. The bonds that you mortals have for each other truly is a powerful thing. You must care for her life very, very much.
Fuck off.
Maybe I will. Maybe I won't. Maybe I'll dispel that silly little circle you're standing behind. Rate you where you stand. I apologize. I do not like being mistaken. I am not Asmodeus. And I will leave you so that you can tell others who I really remember it. I am not the Lord of Lies. I do not peddle in tiny words. I am the Lord of Hellfire. I am Mephistopheles. As he says it, all of the soldiers take their halberds and they there's this sudden stepping of unison motion, heavy footsteps. The horses rein around, and you watch as they lead a charge, first going through the portals, and each of the soldiers turn around in unison and step and follow them through. Binds itself around like two serpents entwined, coming undone until they're all gone. And just the angel flies overhead while this monolithic beast stands there, and it says, "Oh, take your father. Tend his wounds. And tell him I look forward to the battle when he tries to take back this castle. Until then, it belongs to Belle." And he kicks over and he cleaves it in half, and you watch as this splitting fire goes all the way down the carpet. The devil is seen on the other side of these flickering flames as he walks back through the blood. This monolithic beast plants its sword right in the... The angel plucks up Pridwin's body and drops it right in the middle of your circle. Tirana catches him.
Is he stable? Or by stable, I mean, is he still bleeding out?
He is still bleeding out.
Yep, healing hands.
You watch as the blood stops. As the devil walks through the other side, you feel as the that circle dissipates, and the arcane runes etched into it fade away. There is now the figure of this massive devil standing amidst the ruins of Pridwin over a conquered throne. The flames form a wall down the side, and you follow them out as
You cut out.
as you lay hands on him and heal his wounds, she lets the weight over to you, Zarman. And you kind of hold that weight and see as she looks kind of weak. She looks at you with this hard to read expression. All right, if the devil's telling us to leave, we should leave.
Pick up Pridwin with one arm.
Okay.
Got the other Trona.
Piranha takes it, and you walk past the flames of Bel's blade. And you watch as he stares you down with this unmanageable hatred. Go ahead and give me wisdom saving throws. You can feel the hatred burning from him in the flames as you walk past it.
Oh, jeez, my God.
This is against the frightened condition.
Yeah.
Those underneath a 23 are felt with such an overwhelming sense of fear. Walk out of this place. You can't imagine stepping back foot in it again. That feeling won't leave you for 24 hours. Possibly longer than that.
And we all get +3.
Oh,
Even with the plus threes, Liza was the only one who was passing that AC.
Liza was the
Yeah.
only one.
well, she already got scared by a living wall. She's fine. She's like, ah.
Yeah, she's fine.
Yeah, she brushed
She's
that
fine.
off. If she passed it, if not, ignore that.
Yeah, Zell's just like, let's move. He's already
Yeah.
activating his gauntlet. He just
As you yard, you step through the brambles of rose bushes. Hospital. Tirana's already leading the way inside. A couple of... There's a flurry of movement. You talk to clerics and you talk to doctors. Point Prince arrives and Honestly, it's all a bit of a blur. You cannot Bell's flames and the fear through that fog. He'll live, but that wound will never heal. He'll need some time to rest. Some point in time, you make your way back to Rosemarie's. Hours have gone by. She's there.
If
He
Toronto
is
stays
Morin.
with, yeah, if Toronto stays with Pridwin at the hospital or something, Zarwin would stay there with Toronto.
Yeah, same as Hanu for a while.
Okay. Well, since it'll end up being a party split at that point, where we're gonna leave it, guys.
Fuck.
I know it's a little early, but bit of a heavy one.
Yeah, those rules, man.
Those were
No.
fucking terrible rolls all around. Holy
Yeah.
shit.
Um,
God.
So glad I did that mind sliver. Holy shit.
Zell, whoever's
Bell,
Oh,
Archdevil of the first
yeah.
layer of hell,
Of the hell. Mm-hmm.
has
Yeah.
now taken Pridwin's manor here in Hearthvine.
That's fine. You guys can get it back.
I'm just not a fan of Pridwin's study.
Right. Zell looks like whoever's with him right now. Zell looks like he's almost having a mental breakdown.
Oh,
He is
wait,
clutching at his throat.
I gotta double check to see if I have a certain spell prepared. Wait a second.
Yeah, whoever's with Zell, he looks like he is freaking out.
If she's seeing you do that, she's not gonna let you leave with this mentality. I need to see if I have calm emotions prepped on her. So I'm not too certain.
Fuck.
I fucking do have calm emotions prepped. She will use that.
I fucking do it.
And she's gonna make sure, because yeah, she's gonna make sure you're in your full faculties before you leave. What happens afterwards, she's gonna hope somebody else is there to help you mentally, but once you're here for 10 minutes or however that lasts, she's going to calm you down now.
And you just hear Zell. It's like, that was gonna be me. That was gonna be me.
He knew what was gonna happen, and he took that chance. The other universes, maybe he wasn't there. But keep your head on. It didn't happen, and it's not going to happen. And I'm sorry that it happened to him, but he knew the risk. And I don't think you would have.
And so Zell is very much like sitting down, just crouched, leg up. He's calm, but he still hasn't kind of raised his head. Like, it's working, but he almost like he's kind of staring off into space.
We know better now, and we will do better. The devil doesn't have a hold of you right now. Don't let him have this weigh you down, because then you will still win.
Yeah. No, you're right.
Keep your head and your shoulders strong. It's gonna be hard, but we're gonna put our minds together and make sure this was not in vain. She's gonna grab your hand and hold it. Knuckles white.
And you see Keith's hands are very limp for the first when you first grab them. And you can tell his hand when you touch his hands it's wet with his blood when he was clenching his fist. And then you see kind of the light kind of coming back into him. And clenches in your grip hard. And there's still the fear. But there is a fire now. We will fucking beat that guy.
She's just gonna give you a hug in return.
We will win this. This is the last thing I do.
Let's do this. Gives you a little headbutt.
Kind of disengages kind of from the hug. No. There's a lot we need to get done. Now we know now who we're fighting. No more searching around, no more stumbling in. We know who we are against.
Maybe. But do remember, no matter what, he's also the Lord of Lies. There is another layer here I don't think any of us see, but we need to tread carefully.
I know. I'm not losing a single one to you, Sam. We have to do this thoroughly. We have to understand. We have to figure out this puzzle. Otherwise, all we know will be lost. You see him, he's calm in a sense, but you know him. His mind is going over a million things in quick succession. Kind of, he's probably like, this is probably outside of the room. It's not in front of like Tirana. Still has his faculties with that bit. And kind of looks through the room. Watch Tirana. I know she might hate us for this. She's alive.
I'm gonna tell this to her face. Right? Tell her up front I would rather her hate me and still be alive than the opposite. I don't know what you're gonna say to her, but those will be my words.
No. Do you have the same? Or does she hate me for my entire life? And that's a lot. Then see her die.
Gather the group around, especially Fee, make sure she's fine. Okay?
Yeah. Make sure she doesn't go off hunting.
Sarmon's staying behind, I'll stay with for a bit.
Yeah. I'll make sure that check him out, but I'll probably be in my workshop. I need to get things done. We need to prepare. Because Armageddon has started. And with that, he leaves.
She'll just walk back to the room.
Whenever he sees Babette, kind of just Zell kind of just asks, "Hey, how?"
It's a difficult question to answer. You seemed particularly shaken. It's fine if you don't.
Not now. Maybe later. Right now, I cannot dwell on that right now. I have to be strong. Eliza, are you okay?
I'm alright. There's just a lot to think about.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay.
So, yeah. Yeah, that was rough. It's the second time I've heard somebody say that name.
Yeah. I know.
Pat you on the shoulder. I said that it was a lot to explain when I first arrived, right?
Yeah, you did.
Though brave Al. Man, that's a plot twist.
We're gonna have the resources we're gonna need. So.
I don't know. It kind of sounded like they needed us.
Yeah. Can Zell do an insight check on Arthur?
Sure.
I'm gonna say the same thing.
Because how is he fucking natural 20 for Eliza?
Oh yeah.
31. Oh, human
God.
influence. If you want to see.
D4 baby. Oh, baby.
35 max.
Uh,
Well,
So, yeah, this is just another day. It's another day.
Thought we were using this. Gotcha.
Yeah, like if there was anything to uncover, I would have.
Yeah, that's a max roll.
Roll like.
Yeah,
Alright.
where was that? Hey,
I don't know if it's really important there for a minute. You know,
Yeah.
one of those could use it.
hey, but the double nat ones, guys.
Fuck.
Oh man,
We had to take all the
the
juju. I
dice.
can't take all those rolls. Is all
Yeah.
I'm saying.
Yeah, we had to use Honey had to use a tail divinity, had to use our tricks, like we used
Yeah,
a
honey.
lot.
That
It
mind
was
sliver.
it,
no,
it
that
was worth it because that is a tough fight. That would have been the toughest fight you guys have ever faced, and I like I had to like design because I thought that you would do this at like a later level. I had to like decide that I couldn't make the encounter like less difficult because the devil's gonna do what the devil's gonna do. So on my end, I was just gonna make sure that those guys on the horseback with their lances were the only ones to make final blows against any of you, because what that would have done is it would have instead of like permanently killing you the way the other ones would have, it would have instead one of the reborn back on the Acheron Peninsula. So your party would have all been resurrected with pretty much humans. You would look like humans, every last one of you, and you would have no memories except for other than your relationships with each other. All right, and that
So
would have
look
been
like a version of our original races.
no. You would look like some
The
sort of
incarnated angry
human.
and born. Fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. You're,
all at exactly the age of 18. Every last one of you.
Yeah, well, that would have been fun. Good thing
Yeah,
we
that would have
didn't
been
have to fight that.
a weird
'cause-
trip. You would have been the reborn is what I've used to have as the Lemure. So it's a gross abomination thing. You get reborn like thing without any memories and this odd tie to death, right? And they but at being Lemure, you're actually a fiend type, right? Rather than the undead thing that they've got going on, all right? And so you all would have been fiend type creatures, right? Which meant that all like fiend type against you guys. I mean, you might have been able to like win well enough to like get like
the fuck out.
yeah, all right, or to like get them to get the fuck out. I mean, if you'd gotten their health like low enough on Bell, then Bell would have retreated. You only would have had to get Bell to half his HP, which is something that Zarman has done more than half his HP in a single
Yeah.
fucking round.
Well,
before.
that was
So-
pretty much my plan. If we had to fight, that was the only
Fuck.
thing I have that would have been useful in that fight was Stonewall.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they're immune to all my other spells. So it literally
Yep,
would have just
yep.
been stonewalling Bell and Zarman
It's just
away
fucking
from everything else.
Paladin
Letting
versus
them
fucking
duke it out.
It just would have
That would have
started
been.
that
Hey,
with Sarman without his thirds, though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I know, I know. That was the
I
only thing was
would've.
like that you were coming into
But-
this with just having made a short rest. Right?
Yeah,
No, I know. We've seen some pretty crazy things out of Zarman against bosses in the past, so it wasn't like absolute failure. The devil in this fight, like he has no desire to die there. He'd retreat. Smarter than that and powerful enough to be able to get out. So, yeah, you only would have had to get him down to half his HP, and then you probably of the way on. Yeah, I mean he only has like 400 HP, like less than 400 HP. So
I don't
you've
think
done
he's
like
that
If
high
he
in
became Sarman,
AC.
would also have that.
no, he
extra
has
D8.
he has a 19, I believe.
Yeah,
right.
like
So it's pretty.
it's high, but it's not ridiculous.
Yeah,
no,
it's just the standing. It's just the staying standing toe to toe with
Toe-to-toe.
Bell part.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got some heavy hitting shit, and his legendary stuff's pretty fucking mean. I would have been.
Oh yeah.
It would have been a pretty rough fight.
Plus,
I was going to avoid the Ice Devil thing is not one that he has access to because Ice Devils haven't been created yet. They're still working on that up in the Frost Warren.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nah, Ember would have just walled you two off and then just focused on trying to keep you up.
Yeah,
Because
because
that's all
the
he
only
can
thing,
do. He's got
because
nothing else.
the only thing Zarman would have been able to do with the Channel Divinity is since it takes an action, it needs to hit as many things as possible. Turning the Faithless works on fiends.
Hell yeah.
Yes, it does.
Well, not Faithless, it's Unholy. That's what it is. Faithless is the Toronto one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That one
I mean,
does also work on fiends, I want to say.